Alright, let us explain how the trial works briefly.
The culprit will be decided based on your arguments.
Should your conclusion be drawn correctly, the culprit will be executed for their crime. As for the rest of you, you get to live on for another day or more.
Should your conclusion be drawn incorrectly, however, everyone except the culprit will be executed.
The culprit, as a result, will be allowed to leave the estate. Do you all understand now?
Yeah, we get it. Now just let us begin this stupid little kangaroo court crap.
You better understand it, because this is the only time we'll say it. Repeating it over and over again is fucking annoying.
Good luck, everyone. Point the finger of justice in the right direction.
So, where do we start?
Good question. This is hard enough already. There is so much to talk about that it's difficult to choose what to start with.
That portrait over there, it catches my eye.
Kanai. Why is there a portrait of her crossed out?
Do y'all have an explanation for that portrait?
We couldn't just leave that podium open. Plus, I'm sure your friend wants to watch the killer be caught.
What if they don't know who killed them?
Same thing. Only difference is that they'll know for sure who it was when they're caught.
Regardless, the portrait is their first sign of respect, it seems.
Alright, whatevs. So where do we start?
I assume we should find out who killed Kane, right?
But how is the question? We have no idea where the right place to start is.
Now, we can figure that out. Right, Hibiki?
Yeah. But we should think carefully about where to start, though.
Anyone have any ideas? Perhaps we should talk about how it was done. Usually that helps out with who it could have been. Not a bad idea, Izumi. Let's do that.
What specifically are we going to discuss in terms of how it was done?
Maybe we can discuss how the killer killed Kanai.
I was thinking the same thing, actually.
Yeah, that's the simplest starting point for now.
Get the magnifying glass, broskies, because we're about to clue our way out of this.
I love Clue!
It's time for the beginning of the discussion. Whatever we come up with will determine the course of this trial from here on out. How Kanai was killed. What will that tell us about the murder?
Kane was found in the foyer on the floor. It was such a mess.
The killer was a sneaky bastard. First, they snuck up behind her. And whack! Dead.
Can you take this more seriously?
Is there anything else?
There was a lot of blood, so she lost a lot of it.
There was more of a mess there than just blood.
They were probably in a struggle, so...
It sounds sensible, but something doesn't sound right. Maybe if I think harder about it, I'll figure it out.
Kane was found in the foyer on the floor. It was such a mess.
The killer was a sneaky bastard. First, they snuck up behind her.
No, that's wrong!
Sorry, Ruka, but what you said doesn't match with the evidence.
Say what? How am I wrong?
If you remember how Kanai looked, you'll see that sneaking up from behind her wouldn't be possible.
How is it not possible?
Kanai had a wound on her head, yes. However, if you look closely, you'll see it's more on the frontal side.
I think I see what you mean. There's more of her wound around the facial area than on the back.
So what does that mean then?
It means whoever hit Kanai did not sneak up from behind to hit her. Rather, they hit her right in the face.
So Kane must have seen her killer then!
Bruh, I can't believe I was wrong.
Did you check the body enough?
Like hell I would! That's nasty, bruh. I can't handle seeing dead bodies.
Don't you shoot people in video games and see their bodies?
There's something called a difference. Good luck trying to convince me to give you a battle pass for free.
What does that even mean?
So if Kanai had a mark on more of her facial area than on the back, the killer was probably seen by Kanai herself.
Yes, which means this wasn't a stealth kill. Rather,
Cut!
Clearly you didn't read enough of that mystery-solving book, sport.
Seriously? Now's not the time. What's your deal?
I fail to see a solid reason for why your logic holds up. Let me direct you to the right path. If you were in the killer's shoes, you'd want to kill without being spotted, yes? So there's no doubt the killer pulled the hit off from behind Kanai. Why? Because they probably didn't cause the facial wound. You want to learn more from the book now?
Forget the goddamn book. If the killer really didn't hit her in the face, there would be no wound in the facial area. There's no other way for a wound so severe to end up on her face.
Quite the determination, sport, I must say. But nothing can convince me that Kanai was hit in the face first. You're gonna need evidence to support your theory. Otherwise, it doesn't work in the slightest.
There are plenty of ways to have a bad mark on your face, but the killer definitely caused it. I'll use evidence that proves she was hit in the front.
Quite the determination, sport, I must say. But nothing can convince me that Kanai was hit in the face first. You're gonna need evidence to support your theory. Otherwise, it doesn't work in the slightest.
I'll cut down your lies! The killer hit Kanai in the face, that's for certain.
And why are you so confident with that?
These glasses were found at the crime scene. See how they're broken?
Aren't those Kanae's?
I noticed she wasn't wearing them when we found the body.
Are you saying the killer broke Kanae's glasses when she was hit?
Precisely. That would require the killer to hit her in the front. As such, hitting her from the back to break her glasses would not be possible.
Couldn't they have pushed her forward to make her fall flat on her face?
I feel like you'd have better odds at destroying her glasses by simply hitting her in the front than pushing her with force.
Darn tootin'. Unless the killer was a lucky charm.
Marshmallows?
No. No marshmallows.
So we can say for certain that the killer attacked Kanai by hitting her in the face, pretty much.
Yes, we can indeed be certain.
Meh.
Looks like you need to read now, Yua.
Hayate, please.
So now that the ship about where Kanae was hit has sailed, is there anything else we should discuss next?
What about the weapon? What did the killer use to hit Kanae?
Good idea. We haven't discussed the potential weapon of this crime yet.
Damn right. What did the killer use? It must have been pretty blunt to have done so much to Kanae.
I think I have an idea as to what was used.
What you got?
When we found Kanai's body, wasn't there a stick object of some sort? It looked pretty blunt.
That stick. Ah, yes, I remember now. We found it during the discovery and investigation.
Then that was the weapon! Case closed! I got the Super Sleuth rank.
You're not even at the rookie level.
If that was the weapon that hit Kane, then I guess that explains the wound on Kane's face.
It can also explain why Kanae's glasses were smashed so brutally.
Makes sense to me.
That weapon though. Earlier I thought to myself that something seemed off about it. What is it? Just a sec. Something bothers me about that blunt object of some sort. Let's just call it a nightstick for now.
What seems to be the problem with it?
Recall that Kanae was hit in the face. Her wound was pretty big, and it did enough to shatter her glasses. Don't you think that would produce gruesome results?
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't it?
Well, let's just think for a moment about that weapon. There's something it's missing that proves it couldn't have produced the results seen at the crime scene.
So you're saying that the nightstick may not have been the weapon the killer used to hit Kanae?
Probably. I just need to think about this carefully. The nightstick. What should it have done for it to be the weapon of choice by the killer? There exists a contradiction in there somewhere. I just need to hang in there and focus. There we go! Of course! The nightstick had no blood on it!
There was no blood on it?
Correct. That nightstick should have had blood. Otherwise, it's just a red herring.
Hold the phone for a second. What about the wound on Kanae's face?
Comparing the wound to the nightstick, I get the impression that something bigger was probably used to hit Kanae, since the nightstick is rather smaller in size than the wound.
Dude, they just could have hit her multiple times to make the wound look bigger than the nightstick itself.
But wouldn't that mean there would be blood on it then? Multiple hits would likely produce blood on the weapon, right?
That's a valid point. The nightstick, however, had no blood, so multiple hits wouldn't be possible.
Dudes, they could easily—
Please don't say they washed the blood. I mean, there was blood everywhere, you know.
Cringe.
But if the nightstick wasn't the weapon that hit Kanae in the face, then what did?
Yeah, there were plenty of things that could have been used.
The nightstick showed no signs of hitting Kanae. What other object was there that did the job brutally on Kanae?
Kanae was hit pretty badly, right?
Yes, whatever she was hit with, however, remains a mystery.
Maybe the culprit is stronger than we thought and punched them super hard.
Nah, they probably kicked her like a martial artist.
The answer is probably easier than we thought. Maybe it was a spur-of-the-moment decision by using a nearby object.
The smart thing to do would be to hide it. So they probably used their own weapon and got rid of it afterwards.
Or maybe they fell on their face. Who knows?
Something at the crime scene gives away the method of hitting Kanae in the face. It may not stand out, but it may be more obvious than we think.
Kanae was hit pretty badly, right?
Yes, whatever she was hit with, however, remains a mystery.
Maybe the culprit is stronger than we thought and punched them super hard.
Nah, they probably kicked her like a martial artist.
The answer is probably easier than we thought. Maybe it was a spur-of-the-moment decision by using a nearby object.
I agree! That's it! Kanae was hit with a vase.
Oh? So I was right then?
Yes, because normally there's a vase within that foyer, right, Izumi?
Yes, that is correct. Those shards we saw on the ground are from the vase that normally sat in the foyer.
Its size was pretty decent to cause that wound on Kanae's face, so that's definitely gotta be it.
You guys remember such characteristics as a vase?
I'm pretty sure at least everyone has seen it while walking around the house.
You all wouldn't be so mindless to forget that we dust antiques on a daily basis, right?
I'm usually the one doing it most of the time, though.
Are we required to remember such details or something? None of us could have expected this darn vase to play a crucial role in this damn case.
Wait a second. Something bothers me about the vase being used to hit Kanae.
What's wrong with it?
If the vase was used to hit Kanae, and there were shards of it on the ground, why did nobody in the living room hear it? That's actually a good question. The living room was close to the foyer, so how could the folks in there not have known of what was going on there?
Oh, I think I might know why we didn't hear anything.
You guys are referring to the stereo test we did, right?
Music?
You were in the library, so I think you were too far to hear it.
Yes, and I think we performed it at the worst time.
Now hold on just a second. How can you be so sure the murder happened while you were playing the music?
I can be certain because a certain someone told me something that confirms this.
This right here!
Kaede, recall what you heard while you were in the dining room planning for the party.
I heard the distant music from somewhere, and what sounded like a shattering sound.
You heard the sound of shattering?
That's odd. Me, Ryota, and Nayumu never heard that sound.
I mean, we were talking to each other while planning. Also, the distant music kinda drowned it out for us.
Kaede, why didn't you tell us you heard something while we were in the dining room?
I thought maybe someone caused a little accident when setting up for the party. I didn't think it was more serious than that at the time.
You should have at least checked. Something like that is a crucial task to do when you heard something like that.
I'm sorry.
Now's not the time to make anyone feel guilty. All that can be said is that Kanae was indeed hit with the vase.
Well, there we have it. In the foyer with a vase. Case closed.
So we've deduced the murder weapon and how it was used. Now what?
No, not quite.
Pardon?
While it can't be denied a vase was used on Kane, the matter of it killing Kane with just one blow can't be 100% confirmed.
Huh? Why?
There's still more we have to account for to determine the cause of death. What may that be, you say? Tell him, Habiki.
Me? I believe it was... Izumi has a point. There's more to the crime scene than just being hit. What do we need to account for?
This right here!
There was a lot of blood on the floor. It all must have come from that wound from Kanai's neck.
You're right. That might tell us another story on how Kane actually died.
So, if you're saying Kanae's death is linked to her neck wound, I see more of a reason to discuss the murder weapon.
The true murder weapon. What may it be? The audience desires answers. The weapon that stabbed Kanae in the neck. What is it? Said the viewer listening.
It's obviously a knife. Everyone always gets stabbed by a knife.
There's plenty of sharp objects in this estate. It was probably glass from something around the house.
I don't know, to be honest. If the vase isn't the murder weapon at this rate, then I have no ideas.
So we have nothing. Fucking useless.
If Kanae has a stab wound in her neck, then the killer had to have something on them to get the job done. Was it in plain sight as well?
The weapon that stabbed Kanae in the neck. What is it? Said the viewer listening.
It's obviously a knife. Everyone always gets stabbed by a knife.
There's plenty of sharp objects in this estate. It was probably glass from something around the house.
I don't know, to be honest. If the vase isn't the murder weapon at this rate...
No, that's wrong! No, the vase is still technically the murder weapon, just in a different way.
Oh? Do explain why, cutie?
There were some shards covered in blood, yet one of them happened to have a lot on it. This leads me to the conclusion that Kanae was hit and stabbed with the vase.
So what did the killer do exactly with that vase?
First, the killer struck Kanae in the face with the vase. Then Kanae must have collapsed from the hit's impact, making her immobilized. Then the killer must have picked up one of the shards that looked big enough to hold, then stabbed her in the neck with it.
That's how they did it? How gruesome and cruel.
Wow, and I thought I've seen enough. But boy, was I wrong.
So Kanae's cause of death was likely being stabbed. Do you know how many times she was stabbed?
It was probably a couple of times, since a lot of blood was pouring out, and the wound did look like it received many stabs.
Either way we look at it, Kane was stabbed to death.
What awful person would go as far as to stab them after hitting her?
Well, I think they went over the line to make sure they were dead. Sometimes being hit in the head won't cause instant death.
They probably didn't want to risk having them do anything to incriminate them. Like writing a dying message, for example.
Yeah, that is true.
So, now that we know how Kanae died, how does it tell us who did it?
Good point, actually. We spent all this time talking about how it was done, and we haven't thought of one suspect in this trial.
Is there anyone that looks suspicious in the slightest from how the murder was pulled off?
We gotta find the sus one, or it's game over.
It really makes you think.
Hold on just a second. I just remembered something very crucial.
You do? What is it?
Remember when the body was found? Abiki, did you see anyone else before you discovered Kane?
We did, actually. Remy was on the floor unconscious.
Was there anything about her that caught your eye?
She did have blood on her hands. Wait, don't tell me!
Indeed. Does anyone find it rather convenient that Remy had blood on her hands when she was found?
Kya? What? Me?
Oh, right! She did have blood on her hands when we found her.
Are you saying Remy got blood on her hands when she killed Kane?
No, stop! It's not what you think! I was clearly unconscious!
Exactly! How can you guys be suspecting her when she was unconscious when we found her?
She could have been faking it after she did the deed to give herself an excuse to not be suspected.
I'm not lying, I swear!
As I thought, Remy is being suspected because of the blood on her hands. But what should I tell them about Remy being unconscious?
This right here!
Based on what Remy told me, she was knocked out. What caused her to go unconscious is yet to be determined, but it explains how she was found the way she was.
See? Habiki believes me. I'm not lying!
Wait a dang minute. How did you end up in the foyer in the first place? Weren't you in the kitchen with Reina, Ruka, and Kane?
Yes, I was. However, I went to the foyer because of this note.
A note? What does it say?
Meet me at the foyer by 9 a.m. I have a personal matter to discuss with you.
So, when you went to the foyer, you were knocked out?
Yes, I was hit in the back of the head.
There's always the chance you forged that letter as part of your cover-up.
Why are you still insisting on Remy being the killer? She would never kill. I know that more than anyone.
In a killing game, anyone can kill. Whether they're dangerous or sweet, it's anyone's game.
We can't ignore that possibility for sure. Since Kane was stabbed in the neck with one of the shards, Remy having blood on her hands would make sense in that case.
I don't want to believe Remy would do such a thing, though.
How else would the blood have gotten on her hands then? There doesn't seem to be any other way blood could get on someone's hands randomly.
I would say what I want to say, but this is far more incriminating than suspicious.
That's the thing though. I really don't know how they got bloody.
If we can't prove that Remy may be speaking the truth, we may have more of a reason to suspect her than we want to.
Well, there's gotta be something, right? I don't think Remy would do such a thing.
I want to believe Remy, but the facts speak louder than feelings. Let's just investigate the matter, shall we?
The blood on Remy's hands has put her in the hot seat. Is there really something that supports Remy's testimony? She doesn't sound like she's lying, yet I need to confirm or deny it first before drawing an official conclusion.
The blood on your hands tells a different story.
Why is it that Remy would be lying? She has clearly testified that she was knocked unconscious while she was at the foyer.
The possibility of it being an act exists, though.
Killers will do anything to look as innocent as they possibly can.
What if she's not lying, though?
Cool, I guess.
Remy insists on her testimony being the truth. What could convince everyone her words are valid? Maybe something happened under our noses.
I am not the killer! You have to believe me!
The blood on your hands tells a different story.
Why is it that Remy would be lying? She has clearly testified that she was knocked unconscious while she was at the foyer.
The possibility of it being an act exists, though.
No, that's wrong! There's a chance Remy's testimony could be supported by someone. That would be you, Ayumu.
Me? Support Remy's testimony? How?
You said you were in the dining hall when you saw the people from the kitchen leave through there, correct?
I did. It was Remy, Reina, then Kanai.
Was there anything odd about one of those three?
Oh, right. Now that you mention it, Kanai herself looked a bit odd.
Kanai?
What was wrong with her?
When she came through the dining room, she looked like she was speedwalking. As if she was in a rush of some sort.
Did you or anyone in the dining room ask her what was wrong?
Nope, because I didn't think much of it. I thought maybe she was getting a bit exhausted from setting up.
And what about the others?
We didn't pay attention to Kanai's face as she came through.
Alrighty then. Was that all you saw?
Actually, there's one more thing I noticed. I could have sworn I saw Kanai holding something in her hand as she came through.
She was holding something?
Do you remember what it looked like?
It looked like a black stick of some sort. Maybe if I saw it again, I'd know for sure.
Wait, could he be talking about that thing?
This right here!
Ayumu, is it possible that Kanai might have been holding the blunt object we found at the crime scene?
Oh, yippity-yay! That was the damn thing she held while coming through the dining hall? Now I remember.
So she had the nightstick on her. What for?
She didn't.
You aren't telling us what I think you're telling us, right?
Well, you gonna tell him, cutie? We're kinda on the edge of our seats here.
That makes sense! It's possible that Kanai was the one who knocked Remy unconscious.
No! No way!
Oh my god! Kanai did it?
Looks like our so-called leader had other plans than to protect us all.
But why would she do that?
I don't think we'll know the answer to that yet. What's most important is clearing Remy's name.
Hold on a second. Remy is still not out of the woods.
What? Why? Are you just gonna keep accusing Remy until you get what you want?
No. I just want the truth. Everything still points to Remy because of the blood on her hands. We still have yet to find out why they're covered in the first place.
Do you still not believe Remy was unconscious?
Have you considered the possibility that Remy caught on to Kanai's plan and killed her in defense?
That's actually pretty valid. It would give her an excuse to fake being unconscious.
But I didn't fake it! Honest!
You sure Remy ain't bluffing? The blood on her hands is one thing, but her pleas seem genuine.
The guilty party will do anything to make them look innocent.
But it's genuine! I swear to you! What are we even supposed to believe?
Is this really the truth?
Everything still points to Remy, but I have a hard time believing that. There has to be a contradiction somewhere. Actually, what if... Remy, there's something I want to ask you.
What is it?
When you went to the foyer, where exactly were you waiting?
It was near the door. I'm certain about that.
Wait, that's where Kanai's body was found.
Yeah, that's right. Kanai was found near the door, yet Remy was found unconscious in front of Kanai. Not too close to Kanai, though.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, what in tarnation is up with that? Remy went from near the door to away from it?
As said before, she killed Kanai in that position and moved herself from where she was standing originally.
No, that wouldn't be possible. There's something about Remy being in that position that strikes me as unusual. It's at the tip of my tongue. I just need to think hard about it.
Let me brew something up for you. I think I know what all of this entails.
You do?
Indeed. So let me guide you to the right answer. Let's start from the beginning. Where did Remy say she was in the foyer before being knocked out?
Remy was near the door.
Indeed. Now, if that were the case that Remy did it in defense, where would Kanai need to be?
From where Remy was standing, Khanai would have to have been behind Remy. Like, if she faced a door, Khanai would be behind her.
Indeed she would. Now if Remy killed her from where she was, Khanai wouldn't be found where she was found. Now picture this. If Remy really was unconscious, how did she end up in a different spot?
The real killer must have moved Remy away from the body.
There you have it. Remy was moved by the real killer. We've
done it! That's it! The killer moved Remy away from the body.
They moved her?
Yes. Going by the fact that Remy was knocked unconscious, it would make sense for the killer to have moved Remy to another position. It also explains this evidence. This right here! The killer got their hands covered in blood after stabbing Khanai. If they were to drag Remy by the hands, then it would explain why the blood got on Remy's hands.
No way! The killer really did that to me?
Damn! Holy cow! They really tried to pin the blame on Remy that badly.
Wait a second. If Remy was dragged away from Khanai, why was there no blood trail made from dragging her?
That's a good point. There was a ton of blood at the crime scene. So how is it that Remy didn't make a trail?
That is indeed a good point. Why did the killer prevent a blood trail from dragging Remy's body? That makes sense! I think the killer was simply trying to prevent Remy from being covered in blood some more. The killer didn't want more blood on Remy because... That makes sense! It's possible that they didn't want Remy linked to the crime.
Doesn't the blood on her hands say otherwise?
The killer was most likely in a rush, so they had no time to think.
That makes me think. The killer probably regretted their actions and saw Remy was unconscious, so they were somehow considerate enough to at least try and keep Remy out of the picture.
Yet, Remy had been suspected regardless.
Why would the killer do that, though? Normally you want to pin the blame on Remy, but this killer didn't do that.
Who would want to make sure Remy isn't convicted of this murder?
Someone who'd do anything to protect her, of course.
You figured it out too, huh?
Who is it? Did you figure it out?
Why don't we ask Hibiki? Did you figure it out too?
Yes, I did.
Tell us! Who killed Khanai?
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Loud and clear, cutie. Who took Khanai's life?
Khanai was killed by someone who would do anything for Remy. Since Khanai knocked her out, only one person would fit the criteria. That person is... It's you! It has to be! Someone who witnessed Khanai trying to kill Remy. Someone who'd do anything for her friend. Someone who'd do her best to relieve as much suspicion from Remy as possible. That someone is you, Reina Nanjo.
What? Reina?
帰り道見上げる空夕焼けと瞬く星が一人きり落ちる影をゆっくりと飲み込んでゆく しているの君は空を映す水たまりを見ておとぎ話をつぶやいた君と一緒なら出会えるかも泳ぐ空のさかなその日から始まるのは二人きりの旅の空想甘い世界広がってゆっくりと包み込んでいく帰り道見上げる空夕焼けと瞬く星がそれじゃまたね手を振って明日へとしおりを挟む揺れるまだらな日々校舎の裏側一人ぼっちの影に声が